afternoon, and welcome to another edition of the LTC webinar series. My name is Brian Bates. I'm the Director of Professional Learning for the LTC, and I'm joined today by Mindy Fiscus, the Digital Access Coordinator for the LTC, and she's here to talk a little bit about Cat 2 budgets for ERate. So, Mindy, whenever you're ready, go ahead and take on over.
Thank you, Brian. Let me get, I need you to share this screen with me. Tell me when that's ready, and I'll take over. All right. So I'm gonna go right here and we'll present. So again, thank you for joining us. Let me get to the right slide. Thank you for joining us here for the presentation in our LTC webinar series for 2021. This session will cover ERate essentials, and today we're going to talk a little bit about Category 2 budgets and how to figure them, not just for this year, but for the next 5 years. My name is Mindy Fiscus, as Brian said, and I am your Digital Access Coordinator for the LTC. I also serve as one of your 2 ERate coordinators for the state of Illinois, and serve on multiple organizations, both locally here in the state and nationally, representing the state of Illinois. So first and foremost, we need to point out to all of our attendees watching either in person or recorded that our deadline for the 2021 year has been announced for the 471. So we are now open in the window for filing your 471 forms. It opened in January, and that deadline is March 25th. So as a result, 28 days prior to March 25th is February 25th, and that is the day that will be the last day to file your 470 and still abide by the 28-day rule of the open bidding process. So again, 470s are due February 25th. 471s are due March 25th. And I would be remiss if I didn't remind you once again, like I always do, to please not wait till the last minute. The system does get a lot of heavy use in the last week before the deadline. And so I highly encourage you to be proactive and not wait until the deadlines to file your forms. Again, if you need any assistance with either of those forms, you can reach out to the LTC, either to me directly or to our ltcillinois.org website, and look for the ERate resources. There are multiple offerings of sessions to support the applications. That being said, we are in the middle of our state tour for the 471. You can see here, we've got several sessions left to do, starting with that February 10th in Oglesby session. All of the registration is live and linked on the LTC page. I'm hoping to see as many people as possible within these sessions. This year's sessions, due to COVID restrictions, are all virtual. So even though the areas are spelled out here for your attendance, you are welcome to attend any of the sessions online and join us. I guess if you want to go ahead and visit those particular areas, we did want to recognize our ROE sponsors that partner with us to offer them, and you can join that virtual table with your friends at those specific areas if you live in one of the areas yet to be served. So please join us for the ERate Essentials 2021 tour. This is being the year of opportunities. So speaking of opportunities, now would be the time to join our LTC community if you have not yet done so. So visit ltcillinois.org and then click on the link community from the submenu. You can then join our community at the LTC, and please be sure to join the ERate group once you get into the community to be aware of all of the updates and conversations surrounding ERate. While I'm saying this, I should also let you know we are about to have an update or a facelift to our LTC community. And so I encourage you to go ahead and join now. Those of you who are already members of the community will be automatically transitioned to our new platform here shortly. It is imminent that we will be changing over, and I'm pretty excited about the new platform and the different opportunities to engage with the members of the community. So please go out and join in the conversation. So before we get started on figuring just exactly how much money you have for Category 2, I want to go ahead and point out to you that discounts in this program are based on poverty level. If you are a district that has even less than 1% free and reduced lunch rate in your school district, you can get up to 25% off on your bills in category 1 and category 2. So please note that even our wealthiest districts in the state can leverage this program for what I like to say is a 25% off coupon, but you are funded all the way up into 90% for category 1. That being said, please note over here the circle on category 2. So even our poorest districts that average 75% or higher on their free and reduced lunch rates are capped at an 85%, meaning the money that we're about to talk about today, you will need to cover 15% of that cost yourself. So we're going to do a pre-discount budget calculation. And then from there, your district covers 15% and the rest will be covered by the program. Of course, if you find yourself somewhere here in the middle of the chart, you will have to figure your discount along the way. But I do want to point out that even though we're talking about overall budgets, there is a still district match as part of the program that is required. What can you get? So many of the districts in our state leverage the category 1 services. There is no cap on category 1. The money that we are talking about today focuses on category 2 services. So if you are getting category 1 internet access, this does not count against the budget that we have for you. This is category 2 services, meaning network equipment, anything to get that internet out to your students, wiring, routers, switches, etc., wireless access points and things like that. Management of those, whether that is software or management services on them, and then maintenance of that as well. And so we'll talk a little bit more about what eligible things fall in what categories moving forward here in our presentation. If you are interested in seeing the entire eligible services list, it is on the USAC website and linked from here, but you can search the website at usac.org for FY21 eligible services list and can see the entire 15-page document on what is eligible for the program in its specifics. So, being the year of opportunities, now is the time to either spend your money or plan ahead. Category 2 budgets were kind of up in the air in the past history of the program. There were some interesting rules, like you could spend money every 2 out of 5 years. Only those with the highest need were funded first, and then everybody else was kind of left to wonder if there would be enough in the pot for them. That all changed 6 years ago with the new pilot for category 2, where everybody in the nation was given a budget that they could spend from. It was so hugely successful that they have extended the program and made it official. This funding year being the first funding year where we have set budgets, and they will be refreshed every 5 years. So this new funding opportunity is for category 2 equipment and support and will last for 5 years. This means it will last the 2021 school year through the 25-26 school year. You are given one budget for the entire 5 years, and it's given to you at the district level. This is important because it's a little different than the pilot. The pilot was done at the school building level, and you had to keep track of what equipment was going in what building. So now it is figured at the district level, and you'll be applying on behalf of the district for all the buildings in your district. It's calculated at a rate of $167 per student, or $4.50 per square foot for libraries. There is also a $25,000 minimum per building, which means if you have a school building inside your district that has less than 150 students, you have a minimum amount of $25,000. This is a great piece of information for our small school districts that might have a building that meets those needs. It was determined by the program that the $25,000 amount was the minimum required for 5 years to keep a district infrastructure running. And so there was a lot of advocacy done to make that happen, and we were happy to see that as part of the rules here moving forward. For our larger districts, districts with 11 plus schools, you will need to choose, are you going to calculate $25,000 a building, or are you going to calculate student count? I've done a little research on it. So far, all of the districts that I've helped to calculate have found that if they have more than 11 buildings, the student count usually works in their favor, but you'll have to do the math on your own and determine what works for you. The student count is the student count that is in the EPC portal. So they will be calculating your budget per the EPC portal and what is in there. If you have not updated your student counts for this year, that is okay. You are welcome. There are a couple ways that we can still do that, and you can reach out to me and I can help walk you through ways to update your student count. Currently, the system is locked down, so you can't just get into the EPC portal and do the updates. They do lock that down right before they open the 471. But there are some other workarounds where we can update that student count if you would like to. That being said, we are in our special unicorn year of COVID, and so many districts, both in our state and nationwide, are a little concerned about their totals for this year. Because this program is based on the free and reduced lunch count, and free lunch has been given to all students in the nation via the waiver, many schools are reporting that students are not completing the forms to appropriately sign up for the program. If you find yourself in concern either about your student counts for this year or your free and reduced lunch rates, USAC and the FCC have already authorized school districts to go with last year's student count numbers. So if you haven't updated your numbers and you're comfortable with the numbers that are in the EPC program, you are willing and able to move forward with those numbers that are on record. So again, I have a little note here at the bottom that districts are responsible for their non-discounted amount of the calculation of the total budget. So this calculates an overall budget, and then you have to do your discount on the budget. It helps to see that in perspective here with an example. So first, this is a live example. Big thank you to Clay City Unit 10 for allowing us to use their district as an example today. This is a 5-year budget for Clay City Unit 10, which is a small school district in Southern Illinois. They have 331 students in their buildings, but with a percentage of 63% who leverage and are eligible for the National School Lunch Program. That is both free and reduced. You can see in the little chart that I've created, I have the 3 buildings that make up their district on the left, the number of students in the next column, and then the multiplier of 167 in the third. Note for both the Clay City High School and the Clay City Junior High School, with totals less than 150, the $25,000 minimum would be a better count than the calculated per student amount at 167. So for this particular district, they will add 25,000 minimum for the high, 25,000 minimum for the junior high, and then the 32.5 for the Clay City Elementary School to get their grand district total. Being that this district is an 80% discount district, they will receive 66,000 of that from ERate and will still need to come up with their 20% or 16.5 for their match of the 20%. If you are interested in seeing how USAC is calculating your budgets, you can do so here. So there is a link here on this website or on this slide deck, and I'm going to show you how to navigate it. I'm going to actually click off of the link and show you how to navigate it right from the USAC site to make that a little easier. So from usac.org, you're going to go ahead and click on ERate, which will then bring up the submenu of all the options. In the third column, you're going to look down to Tools. And from this Tools page, you're just going to scroll down until you see Category 2 Budgets. This is the same location that we had our tool for previous years, and you can see that they are still here, but we're going to choose the one that is 2021 category and above. When you click on that, it will open the open data system for USAC and the FCC. So this first page calculates in the entire nation, and you can see here in the chart, you can see all of these wonderful funding totals state by state, and then a whole bunch of school districts listed down here in the chart below. But we want to filter that down to match your school district. So I'm going to do an example here, and the first thing I'm going to do is put in IL for the state of Illinois. And the trick with the open data system is to make sure that you click apply in the bottom corner of each of your sources. So when I click apply, it will cause the left-hand side to update. And now we're looking at all schools within Illinois. From there, I'm going to go ahead and pick Murfreesboro. And so when I do a search for Murfreesboro as the city, and then click apply, I should now see Murfreesboro's funding over here on the left but there are multiple entities within Murfreesboro. So some of these I will see, we have the public library, we have a private school, a couple different of private schools, and Murfreesboro School District. So I can use the chart and look here, or I can come over here to build entity name or bin if you have that. And I can pick the one that I want to look at. So we're going to go ahead and look at Murfreesboro School District and click apply. So down here in the chart, I can see Murfreesboro School District's bin number in the ERate program. I can see that they are an entire school district that has multiple schools within it, and that the school district has a total student population of just over 2,000 students. It does use the regular multiplier of 167 and presents out for them an available budget of $337,000 for the next 5 years. Murfreesboro would then need to determine what they would use for their percentage rate in order to apply. I believe they're a 90% district, but I'm not positive on that. So they would need to calculate out what their percentage of that would be for their own responsibility. Spending $337,000 over 5 years is a large feat. So that even at the 10% amount is a significant amount that Murfreesboro will have to cover on their own. They may decide that they will cover the spend that whole amount at once and be able to cover that $33,000 themselves, or it might be a little bit more feasible for them to break out those purchases over the 5 years, spending about a fifth each year, or working it out so that they have less commitment each year on the amount that they have to pay themselves in order to leverage and collect that entire amount by the end of the 5 years. Again, if you want to visit that tool, go to the USAC site. It is just ERate, then tools, then category 2 budget tool for 2021 plus is where you would locate that. Calculate your own that way. Those numbers, of course, are coming from the EPC portal and is what will be reflected in the applications online. If you have questions about those totals, you can give USAC a call and talk to their customer service bureau about how they're being figured. And again, if you need to update your student totals, please feel free to reach out to me and I can help you to do that on the back end. In addition to that, USAC is telling us now the first year that you begin spending money will lock in your amount. So as we've been discussing in our 471 sessions, some of the school districts are fearing some decline in enrollment moving forward and wanted to go ahead and lock in that 5-year budget for this year. And if you find yourself in the same situation and you want to go ahead and do that, you can go ahead and start spending this year to lock that budget in for you, and it will remain the same over the 5 years. So it's not something that's going to fluctuate year by year. You're going to lock it in the first year of spending and move forward. There are some other districts who have reported that they are going to wait and start spending money next year and will shore up and equal out their numbers starting next year and then move forward with 4 years of spending rather than 5. And that, of course, is your choice. Looking at it, many school districts find themselves faced with what will I update when and how and what will that look like? And so I've created kind of a little chart for you to kind of break it out. This is a typical school district that would be getting around $100,000. So we can calculate that at about $20,000 a year. And then what might they spend that on? So you might decide to do a piece of your network each year. And these are just some of the things that are eligible for ERate that kind of make up the whole network. So you may choose to do cabling 1 year and a firewall and router the next, etc., moving down the line. It's possible that your cabling might cost $30,000 instead of $20,000, leaving you then $10,000 for the remaining year. Again, you can spend this money over 5 years however you want. You don't have to spend it equally. And so you can kind of leverage that out. But this chart is a good way of planning and moving forward with how do you want to spend your funds and what kind of expenses do you expect to have each year. Some other districts are looking at it in such a way that they're going to do the grade school 1 year, the middle school the next, the high school the following. So you might break down your funding in that manner. Or some other districts have what we call a managed internal broadband service. So that is a company that they use to support their network operations. They pay a monthly fee to these companies so that they can maintain their network for them. If you are a district that has that kind of contract, those contracts are eligible for the program, and you can kind of calculate and divide out how you might want to spend your money each year through contracts in those supporting contracts. So one of the school districts I talked to this week said she was thinking about using, happens to be about $100,000 over the 5 years. And she shared that she was thinking about carving out about $10,000 each year for those managed internal broadband services, or what I like to say is MIBs. So carving out a half of that amount each year for MIBs and having that be a residual set amount, and then using the rest of the funding to purchase equipment along the way. So again, you can spend this however you would like. You can spend it all in 1 year, as long as you're able to pay for your division or your share of that, or you can spend it nothing the first year, nothing the last, and just in the middle 3. It's totally up to you. Rest assured that this is now part of statute and will run these 5 years, and then the budget will be refreshed starting the 26-27 school year. So you'll get another 5-year cycle at that time. If you are interested in more information from the LTC on our ERate webinar series, do check out the upcoming series, the 16th and then into March, about bid evaluations as they pertain to the 471 form and the application process. We're going to cover some tips and tricks for the ERate 471 for those of you who have not yet filed on March 9th. And then in April, we're going to cover PIA review and next steps and what that might look like to fix some errors in your forms and or how to plan for moving forward for the next step of the process. So please join us for one of our future webinars. We would look forward to having you. And again, do check out the ERate resources on our website. Hopefully you'll be able to join us for one of our ERate 471 sessions and or watch a recording of one of the 470 or 471 sessions that we have there linked on the website. I want to thank you for watching the webinar and joining us today. I can be reached at mfiscus@ltcillinois.org, or you can follow me on, and or I suppose I should say, you can follow me on online at Fiscus29 at Twitter. Brian, do you see any questions in the message box? I'm not seeing any here on my screen. And so I'm going to guess we're going to go ahead and wrap up today. And again, if you have any questions after watching the recording, for those of you who join us in the recording, here's my email right here. Any final statements, Brian?
Nope, no questions in the chat. I want to say thanks and look forward to seeing you again in a couple weeks for your next ERate webinar.
All right, thanks for having me.
Thank you.